Just a few short years ago, BP proudly told us they were embarking on a journey, and I quote, "in support of our purpose to reimagine energy for people and our planet and our ambition to become a net zero company by 2050 or sooner, and to help get the world to net zero." Well, this week the oil giant revealed a sizable slump in profits, and its new chief executive has vowed to deliver a fundamental reset. So what's going on? Is net zero falling out of fashion? Welcome to The Week in Business with me, Christian May. Now, as recently as 2020, BP's annual report was dripping with feel-good sentiment about a clean energy future. In tone and design, it looked more like an advert for innocent smoothies. The firm was unambiguous. Their future wasn't in being an international oil company, but an integrated energy company. With massively ambitious plans to ramp up and up their investment in renewable energy, they said that this journey will, and I quote, require patience, but it will over time create a more valuable company for its shareholders. But it hasn't worked out quite like that. Bernard Looney, the CEO who wanted to lead this journey, has gone, and his successor has been left to survey the wind turbine-dotted landscape, and it's not that pretty. The company just reported a significant profit slump and a decline in revenues, and the boss has now promised to deliver a new direction for BP. So which direction will it go in? Well, if investor Elliott Management has anything to do with it, it probably won't be towards a clean green future. The activist hedge fund has taken a near 5% stake in the oil giant, worth almost £4 billion, and is understood to be pushing BP to massively row back on its green investment strategy, focusing more on, well, oil and gas. Now, analysts cite rival Shell as an example of the wisdom of this approach, with its current CEO having reversed many of the net zero pledges made by his predecessor. Now, Shell's shares have risen sharply since the new broom came in, and the business is now worth north of £160 billion, in contrast to BP's £75 billion. Now, this all comes at a time when the mantra in America is drill, baby, drill, with Donald Trump promising a new golden age for American energy. Meanwhile, in the UK, the government continues to insist that net zero is both vitally important and eminently achievable. But its biggest cheerleader, Ed Miliband, is being forced to swallow policies that rub up against this commitment, not least the expansion of Heathrow, which has climate activists up in arms or up trees or doubtless before long sitting in the middle of motorways again. Now, politically, Nigel Farage and Reform UK sense a major opportunity to make the pursuit of net zero a huge wedge issue. And at a speech in the city earlier this week, the insurgent party, which now tops the polls, said they would scrap net zero, calling the objective stupid and pledging to tax wind and solar farms basically out of existence. They said they are serving notice on the net zero industry. Now, make of this what you will, but here at City AM we've been inundated this week with pitches for comment pieces seeking to remake the case for net zero. And a lot of people are trying to get on the front foot in this debate, making the argument that net zero and economic growth go hand in hand. And we have carried that argument, but we've also given space to voices saying that while the policy itself isn't necessarily daft, the pursuit of it, the pursuit of all costs at it, and the binding timeline targets will come at a high cost. Now, it's good that we're having this debate. Policies of this magnitude and impact need to be probed and adjusted and debated. Now, it's clear where energy policy is moving, and it's clear where technology is going to be transformative. And of course, environmental concerns aren't dead. They're not even dead at the major oil companies. They're just coming up against reality. Now, speaking of reality, did you think I'd make it through an episode without mentioning Rachel Reeves? You know it's been a tough week for the Chancellor, when the best thing that happened to her was the UK marginally, technically, avoiding a recession. The latest GDP figures pointed to economic growth of 0.4% in December, meaning the last quarter of 2024 was, well, basically flat. Stagnant may be another word for it. December's growth figure does, however, bring some modest relief to the government, though it should be noted that the growth in question was pretty much driven by strong trading in pubs, bars and restaurants. Christmas, in other words. And it masks a grim reality that GDP per head fell in the final 3 months of the year. Now, economists are pretty clear that the outlook is still deeply concerning, and as if we needed any more evidence of this, the latest figures released today show that hiring continues to slump, vacancies are down, employers are braced for higher costs and regulations coming online in April, all of which will make the debate about the accuracy of Rachel Reeves' CV feel like a comedy interlude. Speaking of comedy, we've no time left to discuss the fact that JP Morgan's 5 days a week back in the Canary Wharf office policy is being undermined by the fact that there aren't enough desks for everyone. No such problem at City AM, where, as you can see, we've all the space we need. And the paper will be back on Tuesday, of course, and in the meantime, the City AM app and website will keep you up to date and in the know. That's it from me, though. Have a great weekend.